All right, everybody, and now here we are. This is Coffeechug again, in part 2 of this video sequence, in which now we are going to be making the insulating dough for the squishy circuit project that I'm doing for my Teacher Tinker Time presentation tomorrow. So this recipe is very similar to the conductive recipe, but just a couple things are a little bit different. First, we're going to start out with a cup of flour, just like the old recipe. Instead of cream of tartar and using the salt, which is what goes to make it conductive, this time we're going to make it insulative, so we're going to be using sugar instead. I'm actually going to grab a different measuring thing to not mix in with the flour. So we got a fourth here, so we need a half cup of sugar. Okay, so I got to get 2 scoops of this in there. The same thing, vegetable oil. We're going to be adding 3 tablespoons again. 1, 2, 3. And the last is deionized water, which I actually do not have, but testing things out, I also know that just regular tap water does work, even though it's not really preferred. But that's all I got. So we're going to add some water to this. But what they recommend is that you actually don't add it all at once. I don't know that it really matters, but I do want to add my food coloring, and so we are going to make, let's see, I've got a red batch already, so we're going to go a little green here, I think, for this one. So I'm going to add some green. Okay, so I don't have any water added to this yet, but what you want to do is mix all the dry materials up. All right, and then you continue to add. So I've got a 4th cup here that I'm adding. I'm going to add all that. And we're just going to continue to stir the cup of flour, the half cup of sugar, vegetable oil, obviously the food coloring. And we're just going to keep stirring this. Obviously, you can see this is going to need a little bit more water. So the batch I made last night was a little sticky and runny. I really had to add a lot of flour to it. So they say to add a little bit at a time. As you can see here, you just kind of got to keep working it. So I'm going to add some dough here. I'm going to sprinkle it down on my board, and I'm going to toss this big blob right in there and see if I can't get it a little less sticky for that. So the insulative dough I have not found to hold as maybe as good as the conductive dough. And I don't know if that's just expected with the actual ingredients, with the sugar maybe. I'm not that well read and versed in the reasons for that. This one here seems to be doing a little bit better, but it does tend to get a wee bit sticky, so you just keep adding flour to it and working it until you get the desired consistency, and you can see that it's starting to form up pretty nice here. And you just got to keep folding over on itself, and you can see as I fold over how it's still kind of getting a little gooey. So I just dab it back here in the flour, and I'm sure that somebody somewhere is going to watch this video, all 7 of you, and probably critique this and give me some advice about what I'm doing wrong, which is the power of YouTube and the power of crowdsourcing and sharing your ideas, which is why I love Google Glass, because it allows both hands to be free to document these types of things. So I'm going to go ahead and keep doing this, but you can see over time here it's forming up pretty nicely. Actually, this is probably pretty ready to go. And just like the conductive dough, we now have insulative dough. This will allow us to separate our conductive dough for the positive and negative, so we can actually get a light to light up or a motor to go, because if they are touching, if you know anything about circuits, it wouldn't work. They kind of cancel each other out, so you got to have them separated. So if you want to make something cool like animals or other project designs, you got to have some insulation to keep those two conductive dough parts and pieces separated. So there you have it, people. I'm going to keep going, making some new colors. Hope to have 4 or 5 different batches of insulated and conductive dough ready to go for my district staff for the release tomorrow. As always, you got questions, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. If you've messed with Squishy Circuits, I'd love to see your builds, designs, blog links, posts, pictures, you name it. I'm an online social media junkie, and I love to learn from others. And I, too, will share what we do tomorrow in the Teacher Tinker Time. All right, guys. I'll have to keep kneading and knowing and making new colors, and we'll see you on the flip side.